You're listening to the Running Around Charlotte podcast, presented by the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon. 1 day, 5 events, with a race day distance for every goal and pace. Find out more or register at runcharlotte.com. Now, here are your hosts for the Running Around Charlotte podcast, Tim Rhodes and DC Lucchese.
And welcome to the Running Around Charlotte podcast. We are recording live from the 2024 Novant Health Charlotte Marathon Expo. I'm DC Lucchese. Got Lindsay McGee in here with us. We have a special guest, a good friend of ours, Ashley Mahoney. I mean, literally, you guys probably already know her already, right? But she's a runner in her own right. She's been to and run the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon several times, and she fact-checked me before we got on the air today. It was not 2024 when she checked the box on her ultra. It was 2023, and you guys are probably wondering what kind of guest fact-checks the host. One who's a reporter at Axios Charlotte, that's who.
So important fact-checking.
That's how you probably know her, and we're happy to have her here on the show today.
Thank
you so much for being here.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be here. And I actually got a little notification on social yesterday that it was 2015, November 14th, 2015, when I ran the Thunder Road Marathon. So for those who remember when the marathon was called Thunder Road, that was my first marathon. So here we are. We're going to do it again. We just love running through the streets of Charlotte.
Totally. Well, you'll be running with a whole lot more friends, and I couldn't fact check you right now because I don't have that at my fingertips. But I can promise you this, and I know I'm right. There were not as many people in 2015 as there will be tomorrow on Saturday.
I will concur with that purely based on our reporting. Absolutely. That is correct.
There never have been.
Exactly. Never have been, and we hope to have more people next year. But we got 9,600 people coming to run with us on Saturday, and you were one of those folks. I'm so excited for you. Tell us about your prep this year.
Oh, gosh. Well, lo and behold, this has been an unconventional training cycle for me. So second week starts out, back in July over the summer, and I get a cold. And I'm a big baby when I get a cold. You can probably hear it in my voice now that I'm not 100%. But I'm like, okay, well, this is not how we were supposed to start off this plan. It's the summer. No one wants to be sick during the summer. And
summer
it's
cold, right?
You can still run with a cold. But it's the kind of thing that just kicks your butt. And you're like, I can't breathe. I can't swallow. I'm just a useless pile of a human right now. So
that's my plan on Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah, Sunday. We'll save that for Sunday. But we got to do Saturday first. But and then lo and behold, the night of the election, obviously as a journalist, worked late that night with all of my colleagues covering everything that was coming in.
Yeah.
And I wake up the next morning, horrible sore throat, just, a cold. But I'm like, wait, this is supposed to happen after the marathon. So, I don't know what's been in the DayQuil I've been taking. It is the basic DayQuil that you get at Harris Teeter, folks.
Or Publix.
Exactly. Or Publix, yes. Your favorite grocery store in Charlotte. Take your pick.
Exactly.
But I went out on Sunday, ran my last long run, and it was a PR for a 10-miler for me. So I'm like, I'm not sure what happened here, but so it's been a lot of ups and downs, some unexpected things, but just a basic plan. Bought a ton of shoes for this. Have been doing a lot of, I guess you could say, carb loading. I went to 2 different grocery stores this morning trying to find bagels because the first one I went to didn't have any, and I'm like, I need a bagel for tomorrow morning. Like, I am a New Yorker. I need an everything bagel for
have we
tomorrow morning.
cleared out the city already?
We have cleared out the city of bagels. So everyone,
There you go.
they say, when it snows here, it's going to be icy. Everyone goes and gets the milk and bread.
Yeah.
The day before a marathon, runners are going and getting the bagels.
See, there you go. I don't know about the everything bagel, though. I think that's a bold choice. Bold choice.
Do I have anything in my teeth now?
No,
The podcast
great.
is going to see this.
Exactly. Well, there you go. So, but you're not eating that until tomorrow morning, so that'll be on you. So swing by the start line there, and I'll do you a quick dental check. So now tomorrow is also Lindsay's first whack at a marathon. I have all the faith in the world.
Congratulations.
I know she's going to knock it out. And as someone who has checked the box in Charlotte a couple of times, I know the course is mildly different, but it's essentially the same. What sort of advice would you drop on her or anybody else who's going to be doing Charlotte tomorrow?
Have fun. And I feel like that's like, okay, well, that's great, but that doesn't help me at all. Like, have fun. What does that even mean? You only get one crack at your first time. And every single time I've run this race, everyone says, Charlotte's hilly. And then I went back to New York for a wedding over the summer and ran that. And I was like, okay, let's compare hilly, shall we? But
Yeah, fair point.
be mindful of the last 10K. It is humbling as heck. but it's also beautiful. I love the sections through NODA. I know several of my colleagues will be out there, cheering everyone on tomorrow, but just feed off the energy, engage with the energy, and enjoy it. And fuel, because I did not fuel during my first 3 attempts at this marathon and always hit a really big wall. So I've since dabbling in the ultra world, learned the importance of fueling. We're fueling this time, and let's just say it's going to be a game changer.
Ultra fueling is different because you literally run from aid station to aid station, aka food buffet to food buffet.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And the gels are just a different lifestyle of the road running.
Pickle juice.
Oh, love that.
My partner's going to be
Yes.
on his bike. He's like, I'm going to follow you, like not on the course.
Correct.
But off to the side, outside of the course itself. But I will have little things of pickle juice for you whenever you need them. I'm like, honey, I love you so much.
Yes.
Thank you
That
so
is
much.
a great partner.
Now, it's the little things, right? It's the little things. Well, and speaking of little things, this is a terrible segue. Let's talk about big things. Since the time you got here and the times you've run Charlotte, not just the marathon, but the city has changed a whole big bunch. I mean, the new number now is 117 people here moving every day. And by my quick math, that's 50-something thousand people in the course of a year.
It's a lot of people.
Right? That's a lot of people who are new to this town, who are driving around this town, who are learning this town, who are running around Charlotte and this area. See what I did there?
I saw that.
Thank you very much.
I heard that.
Appreciate it. Thank you. How has that changed what you do as a professional reporter? How has that changed what you do with
my gosh,
all those new
Charlotte's-
people?
I moved here in 2014 on a full-time basis. I came to North Carolina, did the eastern part of the state to go to school in 2010. Gosh, that's a lifetime ago. But moved here on a full-time basis in 2014. I've been here ever since, and it is such a different city. Even if you just look at the number of cranes in the sky, the construction that you see in Uptown, in South End, in Plaza Midwood, wherever you in NODA, wherever you happen to be, it's just a drastically different physical city. And Tim was telling me yesterday that there are 73 run clubs. I remember when I first moved here, maybe you could go to a brewery, one of those little cute pop-up breweries. Now there are a million breweries, and maybe you'd find a run club in the afternoon on a Wednesday night. And now you can go in the morning, you can go at night, you can go on weekends, you can go whenever your heart desires, and there are people out there running. You have so many more miles of. I know we've talked at length about greenways in this town, but there are so many miles of greenway that are being built that have opened this year that people have an opportunity to say, do you want to run on the roads? Do you want to go out and run on the greenway? Take your pick. So for me as a journalist, I get to write a lot about greenways. And I love that because selfishly as a runner, I'm like, scouting new running routes? Yeah, okay, I'm going to go run there. I'm gonna
On
check
the
that
clock?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Research.
By all means, yes. So you get to see a lot of people who are here embracing the running scene, but I remember talking about this with a friend, how so many people during the pandemic, you couldn't go to the gym. And we did. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, DC, I've told you about this once or twice. We took old Powerade bottles, washed them out, cleaned them out, filled them with pennies, pebbles, whatever we could find, and tried to make homemade weights because we didn't have access to weights at the time. And I'm like, I don't have the biggest hands, so trying to hold the Powerade bottle to do multiple sets of bicep curls, it wasn't really that comfortable. But running, all you needed was shoes and the ability to get outside.
Exactly. And
a
remember
lot of
where your
people
key
picked that
was.
up.
When you
Okay,
got
that's
home,
what.
right?
That's how we get people into running. But is that really true? No, I'm just kidding. We've got a few vendors behind us that will happily agree to sell more things than just a pair of running shoes.
True.
I mean,
But that's how we trick them.
I bought a pair of
Trick 'em.
Birkenstocks from my favorite running store earlier this year, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. Everything from whether it's, your choice of electrolytes, your choice of fuel, your choice of shoes, socks, the works. I do spend most of my, I'm not a big shopper, but most of my shopping money goes to, the local running stores in Charlotte. And as a kid who grew up without access to a local running store, just because a town of 500 people didn't have one, I'm like, this is so cool. This is like a kid in a candy store every single time I walk in. So
We have more gear for sale here at this expo than you probably had in a town of 500.
Exactly. More than all the clothes that everyone owned probably in that town of 500.
Like there are more people at some of the run clubs than grew up in your town. So
exactly. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They're
like-
massive. I'm definitely picking up some gels before I head back home.
nothing like a gel and a bagel. Everything
Some
bagel.
peanut
I don't
butter?
I mean, peanut butter gel, too.
Exactly.
Oh.
I guess you could do
So
that. Again, like I said, that's a bold choice.
Nothing new,
works.
nothing
I give you
new
props
on
for
race
that.
day.
It worked
Yeah.
exactly. A friend of
Yeah.
mine, sweet angel that she is, she sent me some honey stingers. I've never tried them
Delicious.
before. So I'm going to try them post-marathon.
Correct.
Because I'm like, I love this. The flavors
the
look
waffle?
amazing. It's the little fruit gels.
Okay. Yeah,
multiple
nothing new
flavors.
before race day.
Exactly. I'm like, I think these are going to taste great. But I've never tried them. So we'll come back to that. But she did send me, she's the sweetest. She sent me a care package before my very first marathon. She sent me a care package every marathon since. She's come down and been at the finish line for me. She ran her first marathon this past year. So now I'm like, how do we get her to come down and run Charlotte? Like, I'm going to twist her arm next year.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll hook her up with a discount code.
Yeah, I would say earlier we could have
people.
gotten
Yeah.
you in, but that's not a thing that's happening this year. That freaking thing sold out, which will probably be the situation, hopefully, next year as well. Now, getting back to the Greenway thing, that you are in my opinion, an enviable position that you actually get paid to keep tabs on that. And like I said, I think that's a wonderful thing, but also for the people running in this town or new to this town or both to have a resource like the Greenways and somebody who's keeping up with them. I think those are good things.
We hope so.
Right?
We hope we're useful. That's our biggest thing. We hope we're useful for readers and
Yeah.
not just something that they're like, it's another thing that's cluttering my inbox. It's something that you look forward to reading. It's something that's helpful, whether it's telling you what's going on at the airport before you fly out to see family over Thanksgiving.
Oh, my
There you go,
goodness.
right there, man.
Great article.
We try. It's a lot. My partner just had to, fly out of there for work, on Wednesday, and I was telling him all the things that he should be looking for before his flight. He's like, oh, yeah, actually all of that lined up. I was like, see? It's like having a little encyclopedia at home.
There you
We try to be
go.
useful.
There you go. Well, don't you think, or do you feel that the way y'all are doing that at Axios and the way they're doing it at some of the other smaller digital media outlets, it feels like that is the way that people are ready to consume information and media nowadays? The idea that there's still an appointment, I'll see you for the 6 o'clock news, is not really a thing because everybody, I'm looking at the Brown here, everybody here's got a different schedule.
Exactly.
Nobody's making an appointment to go home and watch the news, right?
Yep. You need to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And that can be on their phones. It can be a newsletter that's in their inbox every morning at 6 a.m. It can be on Instagram. How do people consume the news? And that's the biggest thing of trying to be flexible and approachable versus, we're your neighbors. I think that sometimes people forget that journalists, it's not just the person you see on the 6 o'clock news. It's not the person whose byline you read in the newsletter or whoever's behind the Instagram post. It's your neighbor. It's me. Y'all, it's literally me.
What's funny is I didn't know her face, but as soon as I realized who she was, I was like, oh, I just read your article.
I know exactly who that is.
I know exactly who that is.
I mean, I'm very fortunate to have selfishly, I think some of the best journalists in this city who work on our team, and it's all a collaboration. Everything from the way that we put together our newsletters to the way that we report through our social media accounts, and particularly our massive Instagram. We like to think of our Instagram as your old school town crier. So if you've been up to the Renaissance Festival, I'm sure you've run into some version of that. But, we keep you informed. And it's such a wonderful team who puts all of this together. Yeah. I remember that the 2021 race, when I just started and I was running the marathon that year. And they said, okay, cool. Where do you want us to be? I'm like, you guys just met me. What do you mean? Where do I want you to be? And they're like, yeah, they were out there. I still have pictures of them holding up signs, and they were there just cheering me on, cheering others on. I was like, wow, okay, this is a really cool company to work for. So just feeling that type of kind of familial atmosphere, not only when I first started, but all the way through, 2021 to now 2024. I'm spoiled. I'm selfish. I love my team. I have a wonderful team. So if you guys are listening to this, love you guys.
Yeah. We'll make sure we tag them in the show notes when we put this thing out there.
Also, on the social media, I'm going to plug our social media for Novant Health Charlotte Marathon because we have tried to meet our athletes where they are, and we know that we send out a number of emails that have a lot of information, but we also now we have a story highlights of all the information you could possibly know for event day tomorrow. It's got our spectator guide where people can find the QR code for participant tracking, for parking, for the race course maps, and that is all right there on Instagram, accessible to athletes, supporters, cheerleaders, anyone trying to figure out what the traffic situation is.
Yeah.
And that's what we decided this year is we saw a lot of the bigger events were doing it. We got to meet them where they're at. So to anyone listening, please check the Instagram. The information is there before you send an email.
Yep.
Well, that's totally very and related. I think whether you're in the actual factual media as you are, or whether you are in the role of having to communicate with an audience on the regular as we are, it's a constant challenge to, as you said, meet them where they are. And okay, just because a certain section of our population wants to see it in an email, not all of them want to, or will even open it. And some of them use burner email addresses. So it's like, okay, great. So you can't find them there. And then it's like, then some of them are on Instagram, and some of them are on Facebook, and some of them are on MySpace.
I've been texting some people. When an email comes back returned, I text them.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. But you're
I
right.
feel like I'm more apt to look at a text than I am an email, but it varies. It definitely varies. I've seen all of the emails from you guys, and I know that after this, I'm like, I have my QR code. I'll go pick up my bid. I'll do the thing.
do my thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and going back to your 2021, I feel, and you can fact check me on this since you wrote it, that was the event where you wrote the story where it was a total shout out to your mom, right?
It was.
That story was. I didn't know you at that time, and I didn't know you were running the event. And I saw the article after the fact, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Because I know everybody that's going to be out there at the starting line at any race. I don't care what it is, but especially at a big event like the marathon, people generally have some sort of reason why they're doing it, right? Whether it's personal or public or whatever. And can you kind of highlight that story for us and why
Absolutely.
that race was so special for you?
Oh, gosh. Well, we'll have to go back to the first one. So in 2015, I was a very stubborn senior in college, and I was studying abroad my final semester. I didn't want to come home and walk across the stage in the North Carolina heat. I'm like, I'm going to stay here for the extra 2 weeks. I'm going to go look at some castles. Like, we don't need a cap and gown ceremony. We don't need that. So my parents didn't have that moment that they could kind of bask in of like, oh, look at our baby. She got her college degree.
Yeah.
Good job, honey. They didn't have that. They had that with my sister. They didn't I guess you'd say stole that from them. So when I decided to run my first marathon, I said, this is going to be my version of that for you. Here's your child doing a big thing. And if you guys want to come down. So they drove down from New York, and my mom's not a runner. Always very, very active. Listeners, if you remember the Cindy Crawford workout tapes, she was a diehard, did that every day religiously.
Unitard.
Oh, loved it. So she was very active, but not a runner. And I remember getting to the halfway point of the 2015 race, and I see my dad, and I'm looking, like, where the heck is she? Like, she's probably run off to the bathroom. She's going to miss me coming through. And at that point, you could see the finish line, but you had to turn and know you still had 13.1 miles to go. And he just turns and smiles and points up around, at the time, BB&T Ballpark, now Truist Field. And she's running up Graham Street, like, come on. I'm like, oh, my God, okay, I'm dying, but let's go. So I went up there and gave her a kiss on the cheek, and she's like, go, like, you're doing so great. So she saw me run my first marathon. 2017, my second one, also Charlotte. She had died from colon cancer a couple of months before, so I ran with a ring that was hers that my dad gave me, and every single mile I'd kiss the ring and punch it up, and that was my way of keeping her with me. Fast forward a couple of years, the stone falls out of the ring, and I went into a local jewelry shop, and they repaired it, no questions asked. It was the night before the race. I'm like, oh, my God, what do I do? And you might want to fact check me on it being the night before. It was right before the race. It was like the week of the race.
I'm going to fact check the fact checker. Hold on a second.
But it was right before the race, and they took care of it, no questions asked. And I was like, I have to have this ring to run this race. I have to have it. And they're like, all we ask is that you come back and let us know how things went. So I came back with a bunch of chocolate chip cookies and a thank you note, and thanked them profusely for fixing this ring for me, and being able to keep her with me throughout that process. So I think everyone to some degree has been impacted by cancer or the loss of a loved one. So it might not necessarily be your mom. Maybe you're the one who's battling cancer right now and showing up here and putting one foot in front of the other and just fighting the good fight and keeping it going. But for me, it's always been this thing where running is in many ways a very solo exercise, but it's also where I feel very close to her. Not to get all emotional to everyone on the podcast right now, but it does keep her very, very near and dear to me, because it's this way of knowing that whether you're overcoming grief of the loss of a parent or whatever life throws at you, all you have to do is put one foot in front of the other. And I'm pretty sure I wrote in this article that it is my favorite metaphor for life, of just keep showing up, keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep going, and eventually it's all going to work out.
There you go. As they say, if it hasn't worked out, then it's not the end, right?
Exactly.
There you go. Well, like I said, I love that story. And I didn't know you at that point, and then I read that story. I'm like, I love that story.
Yeah.
Such a good story. Now, you going to run with the ring tomorrow?
Possibly. I haven't trained with it, so I don't know if it's the cold weather, but either my fingers are shrinking or the ring is getting bigger. Could be either. But
Well, if she has an everything bagel, that salt will help.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Salt, make you blow it up a little bit. Add some extra hoisin sauce on to my tuna tonight. But
Sure,
it's hit the point where I feel like it's not fitting the way that it used to, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna have to run basically with a clenched fist.
Right.
And
Wasted
I don't,
energy. No.
I don't want to lose it. So possibly TBD. I actually was talking with a jeweler not too long ago about are you supposed to? He's like, you can run with a ring, just don't weightlift with it. Like, that's all we ask. He's like, don't throw some weights around while you have, this stone on your finger, because you will probably end up, knocking some things around. But
not ideal.
TBD. There is a picture of me crossing the finish line in 2021. I just, kissed the ring and punched my fist to the sky. So possibly. We'll see. We'll see how it fits tonight.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We will find out.
If that's a finish line photo, make sure that we get a copy of it.
Exactly. Right. Put the people on notice at the finish line when Ashley comes to. Well, you haven't picked up your number yet, so you'll have to figure out what your number is. I will say Lindsay has probably the coolest number, especially for someone who's running their first marathon. It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's perfect.
I'm like,
Yeah.
come
That's
on.
absolutely perfect.
Yep.
That is so cool.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Like-
So
I might have yoinked it.
you're like, this is mine.
Yeah. I already put my
Something
name on
big.
it, so it cannot be stolen.
I love
Oh,
that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So what are
Yeah.
your goals for tomorrow?
Finish.
Always. That is
Always.
my favorite goal.
In the 440 range, and I'm okay with that. And I'm excited. I am surrounded by the most amazing people. I had a dinner with my Run Club family last night,
Nice.
and I get to see 9,000 of my friends today. So my goal today is to try and stay sitting. So thank you, DC.
Least we can do. Least we can
And answer and pump up and or calm down as many of the people as we can.
I love that.
I've got 40 ambassadors that are here today that are going to be here all day long, answering questions around the big map, giving out swag. We got pom-poms. We got temporary tattoos from my race tats. So my goal is to rot on the couch on Sunday. I've already got all of our snacks. And then I will look forward after that. But I'm so thrilled to be here. It's been an amazing year with Charlotte Marathon.
It really
and what a better way to end it. There's no better way.
No,
than
you're right. It's a great way to
perfect.
wrap up the year, and
No. It's only hilly because I've trained the hills, so I'm okay.
you live here.
Yeah,
So it's like,
I live here. I've trained them.
I've run
to,
a lot.
To your point from earlier, right?
Yeah.
Hilly is in the eye of the hiller.
By the time you
So-
get to Belmont and you have that little uphill section, I'm like, that son of a gun, just gotta make it through. I ran it on Wednesday, and I knew I was like, we're coming back for you on Saturday.
Yeah.
McDowell.
Oh, yeah.
McDowell is where I'm going to grumble a little.
That's a good one. That's a good one,
Yeah.
too.
Do you have not a pre-race? Oh, I guess your pre-race meal and your pre-race dinner, and what will your celebration meal be?
You should see the display. We bought the grocery store on Wednesday night since I've been here Thursday, and I'll be here on Friday, so we already did our grocery shopping. And I don't know what I'm eating for dinner tonight. I feel like I can't even think about tomorrow until I get to see all my friends today.
Until you get through today.
Yeah.
Until you get through
Yeah.
today. God, I love it.
We'll get there. But the spread for Saturday night and Sunday is
Solid.
so solid.
I love it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
the best. Honestly, years past, we spent probably in 2021 a good hour trying to figure out what are we going to eat, and it was all of my family, and they're like, pick. I'm like, I just ran a marathon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We
So
didn't want that.
We're doing pho this time. I'm like,
There we go.
I've told my
There you
partner because after every long run, it's just so satisfying and so comforting. And I'm like, I want pho. I don't care what anybody else wants. That's what I want.
There
That's
you
what
go.
I'm having.
That's what I had
Mwah
after
to
my
them.
18-mile training run, and
It's
it
so
was
good.
so good.
So good. It makes you so happy. And then tonight we're going to do a bed of rice, some wasabi seaweed, and then I guess it's technically like the little just standard wasabi seaweed, and tuna, mango, cucumber, hoisin sauce. I feel like
Where do you live?
We live in Elizabeth. Yes, come on over for dinner.
I'll see you about 7:30.
I live 4 minutes from there.
Yeah,
I wish that was a
perfect.
joke. Fantastic.
Like we're just gonna do
Yeah.
a little shakeout
Yeah.
run on our way.
I'll be done here at
Yes.
7.
Now, do you guys
Yes.
shower beer after a
No.
long run or a race? Shower beer?
Beer and I do not get along,
Really?
unfortunately.
I don't know what that means, but
Like drink a beer in the shower.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, let's just tell everyone like how much does Ashley drink?
Yeah,
much.
exactly.
I have my very important shower water. There have been many
yeah,
moments
yeah,
where my
yeah.
partner has passed me a glass of water over the shower
Yeah.
door, and I'm like, "Honey, I need water," and he's like, "Come in."
You're standing in water.
Exactly.
Fair point.
But
point.
like a
I
cold
have
glass
ginger
of water.
ale. Yeah, true.
Nice.
I got some ginger ale just in case.
There you go.
Yeah, first timer.
Shower popsicle. That's what my middle one
There
does.
we
She-
go.
She goes to school down in Florida, so it's always warm. So she's like, shower popsicle. I'm like,
Oh,
that's a pretty good idea.
She got a favorite
Shower-
flavor?
I don't know the answer to that. I would pick orange, but that's just
Like
me.
mango, something. Yeah, something
Yeah,
sweet,
something
something
like
fruity.
that, yeah.
Love it.
See, I'll do a
Yeah.
shower popsicle followed by a bed picnic.
That.
All
That
the
is
snacks
dynamite.
in bed.
I pick it
With
up
my
and put it
dog,
down.
watching a movie. Perfect.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound too bad. Well,
You're not welcome to join.
No.
Yeah.
I would not do that at my house.
But we'll be at
because-
Ashley's for dinner tonight.
Yeah, Ashley's
Yeah.
at dinner tonight, and then you guys can decide what you're going to do with picnic. But
The
like I said, I
kittens will
couldn't
be
do that
curled
with the
up
size of
around
dog.
my
There's
legs.
no way that
Yeah,
happens.
for
Yeah.
sure. They've definitely taken to doing that over the course of
Yeah.
training. I'll come back after a long Sunday run, and they're like, "Oh, Mom's home. Okay, good night." And I'm like,
You're
"I
like,
love that you want to cuddle right now. So
like,
let's
perfect.
do it."
Cuddle puddle.
Perfect.
Oh, so
Perfect.
cute. It's perfect.
Well, and yesterday's weather was the perfect kind of day for laying around. Tomorrow's weather and Sunday's weather are going to be just perfect for the marathon and for the runners and for celebrating all y'all's accomplishments. I am super excited for both of you and for the other 9,558 people who will be there too. So it's going to be fantastic.
Sunday looks like great weather to come
It does.
clean the course
Yes,
at
that's
Summit
right.
Coffee on the plaza with some of our volunteers from
we'll do
11
that
to
too. So
12:30.
Don't forget about that. Yeah. So if you're catching that, we got that thing going on.
I have thought about that, but I've also said, like, do you really want to move on
Be
Sunday?
a great time.
Like,
Great way to walk it off.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Great way to walk
Possibly.
it off. Yeah.
we'll
It's-
talk about that.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We'll see. It's a
Game day
T-
decision.
TBD if my partner's going to look at me and say, take the elevator. I'm like, honey, stairs. He's like, take the elevator. Like, just take the elevator.
The down.
So we'll
part.
see. Or I might be moving very slowly up the stairs, just kind of clawing onto the railings. It's
That's
like,
why they
okay,
have
one
rails,
foot.
yeah.
Done that.
And 1 foot.
Done
It'll be
that.
all good. All good. Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time, friend.
Thanks for having me.
Love what you do at Axios Charlotte, and love that you are going to be running with us tomorrow. I look forward to calling
do
your name at the
this.
finish line, friend.
Can you just give us one for?
She doesn't have the
Well, oh,
Let's just
I
pretend.
should have worn it.
Well,
Okay.
she's here with us.
Hang on, as I,
Yeah,
like,
she's here with us. Yay!
The thing. I'll have to send you guys that picture. I know it's on my phone somewhere. For sure.
All right, my friend. Thank you.
Amazing.
I'll
Thanks,
see you at the
Ashley.
start line and the finish.
Thanks for having me.
The Running Around Charlotte podcast is presented by the Novant Health Charlotte Marathon. Running Around Charlotte is produced in partnership with Well Done Media and Marketing. New episodes are available every week, anywhere you listen to podcasts.